Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling like you were losing your mind? Like somehow you became the villain in a story where you were supposed to be the victim? Maybe someone convinced you that something you clearly remember never actually happened, or that your completely reasonable reaction was somehow crazy. If this sounds familiar, you might be experiencing one of the most insidious forms of psychological manipulation: gaslighting. Understanding what's happening to you is the first weapon in your arsenal to fight back. So if you're finding value in this conversation, hit that like button and subscribe, because we're about to dive deep into protecting your mental health and reclaiming your reality. Gaslighting isn't just disagreeing with someone. It's a calculated pattern of behavior designed to make you doubt your own perceptions, memories, and sanity. The term comes from a 1944 film where a husband systematically manipulates his wife into believing she's going insane. Modern gaslighting can be much more subtle, and that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. It creeps into your life slowly, eroding your confidence one interaction at a time until you don't even trust your own mind anymore. Sign number one: your feelings are constantly dismissed. You're upset about something legitimate. Maybe your partner forgot an important date, or a friend betrayed your confidence. You express how this made you feel, and instead of acknowledgement, you hear things like, "You're overreacting," "Why are you being so dramatic?" or "Can't you take a joke?" This isn't normal disagreement. This is invalidation, and it's one of the most common gaslighting tactics. A gaslighter wants to reshape reality to serve their needs, and your feelings are obstacles to that goal. By convincing you that your emotional responses are excessive or inappropriate, they avoid taking responsibility for their actions. If you're the problem, they're off the hook. Your counter move: your feelings are valid information about your internal state. When someone tells you you're too sensitive, what they're really saying is, "Your feelings are inconvenient for me." Recognize this manipulation for what it is. Being able to identify and communicate your feelings isn't weakness, it's strength. Sign number two: they rewrite history right before your eyes. You remember a conversation or event with absolute clarity, but when you bring it up, they look at you like you've grown a second head. "That never happened. I never said that. You're remembering it wrong." And they say it with such confidence that you start wondering if maybe your memory really is faulty. Spoiler alert, it probably isn't. Gaslighters are master storytellers who edit the past to fit their current narrative. They'll deny promises they made, conversations you had, or behaviors you witnessed. If you push back, they might even express concern about your memory, which only deepens your self-doubt. Fighting backs means keeping receipts. If someone routinely denies things they've said or done, start documenting. Keep a journal with dates and details. Save text messages and emails. This isn't paranoia. It's anchoring yourself to reality when someone is trying to pull you away from it. When they try to rewrite history, hold firm. I remember this clearly, and I trust my memory. Sign number three: you're constantly second-guessing yourself. After interactions with this person, you feel foggy, confused, or uncertain about things you used to be confident about. Maybe you used to trust your judgment, but now you question every decision, every perception, every reaction. This isn't personal growth. This is the intended outcome of gaslighting. A healthy disagreement might challenge your perspective in valuable ways. But gaslighting leaves you worse off. It plants seeds of self-doubt that grow long after the conversation ends. You start wondering if you're competent enough, smart enough, or sane enough to trust your own mind. The gaslighter might make subtle digs about your intelligence, your memory, or your ability to understand things correctly. They position themselves as the authority on reality, and slowly, you start to defer to their version of events. Your defense. Notice the pattern. After spending time with this person, do you feel more clear or more confused? More confident or less? Your emotional state after interactions is a compass pointing toward the truth. When you catch yourself spiraling into self-doubt, pause and ask, would I question this if they hadn't suggested I should? Often, the answer is no. Sign number 4. Every conversation leaves you feeling small. There's a massive difference between constructive conflict and destructive manipulation. Healthy disagreements can strengthen relationships when both parties work toward understanding. But with a gaslighter, you walk away feeling diminished, unimportant, and isolated. Their words aren't chosen to clarify or connect. They're weapons designed to control. They might use condescending tones, belittling language, or phrases that make you feel stupid for even bringing up your concerns. The goal is to keep you in a mental space where you feel less than, because people who feel small are easier to manipulate. Understanding their playbook changes everything. When you recognize that their goal is to make you feel inferior, you can see their tactics for what they are: desperate attempts to maintain power. You can choose not to internalize their words. You can redirect the conversation or remove yourself from it entirely. Sign number 5. Accountability is a foreign concept to them. After most conflicts, reasonable people reflect, acknowledge their part, and apologize when necessary. Not gaslighters. They're allergic to accountability. Ask them to own up to hurtful behavior and watch them perform mental gymnastics to avoid responsibility. They'll deny, deflect, and project. I never did that. You're remembering wrong. Actually, you're the one who. They might even flip the script entirely and make you feel like you owe them an apology for daring to confront them. This is where boundary setting becomes critical. You can't force someone to take responsibility, but you can refuse to accept their distorted version of reality. If you can safely call out their lies, do it firmly. If that isn't safe or productive, protect your mental well-being by disengaging. Sometimes getting the closure you deserve isn't possible, and accepting that is an act of self-preservation, not defeat. Sign number 6. You're walking on eggshells around them. If you find yourself carefully monitoring everything you say and do around someone, constantly worried about triggering a negative reaction, that's a massive red flag. Relationships should feel safe, not like navigating a minefield. This hypervigilance develops because the gaslighter has trained you to believe that you're the problem. You've learned that expressing needs, setting boundaries, or having opinions might result in emotional manipulation, the silent treatment, or explosive anger. This becomes especially complicated when the gaslighter is someone deeply embedded in your life: a romantic partner, a parent, a boss, or a close friend. You can't always just cut them out, which means you need strategies for self-protection. Start by acknowledging how this person has affected you. Write it down. Seeing the pattern on paper makes it harder to minimize. Then, develop a plan for future interactions. What boundaries do you need? How will you respond when they try their usual tactics? Preparation is power. Sign number 7. They isolate you from your support system. This is perhaps the most dangerous sign. Gaslighters thrive when you're alone, so they work to cut you off from anyone who might validate your reality or help you see the manipulation clearly. They might criticize your friends and family, suggesting they're bad influences or don't really care about you. They might create conflicts that force you to choose between them and your loved ones. Or they might be so subtly undermining that you start withdrawing from others on your own. Fighting back means actively maintaining your connections with people who see you clearly and support you genuinely. Don't let the gaslighter's voice be the only one in your head. Talk to trusted friends, family members, or a therapist about what you're experiencing. External perspectives can be life-saving when your internal compass has been thrown off. Your action plan for fighting back. Now that you recognize the signs, here's how to reclaim your power. Document everything. Keep records of conversations, save messages, and maintain a journal. Set and maintain firm boundaries. Decide what behavior you will and won't tolerate, and enforce those limits consistently. Most importantly, trust yourself. Your perceptions, memories, and feelings are valid. When someone tries to convince you otherwise, that's information about them, not about you. Build and maintain your support network, because isolation makes you vulnerable. And know when to walk away. Not every relationship can or should be saved. Remember, you are not responsible for a gaslighter's behavior, no matter how much they try to convince you otherwise. Their inability to treat you with respect is not a reflection of your worth. You deserve relationships built on trust, mutual respect, and genuine care. If you're struggling with the effects of gaslighting, please reach out to a qualified mental health professional. Getting help is one of the bravest things you can do. Have you experienced any of these signs? What strategies have helped you? Share your story in the comments. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Understanding the game is the first step to refusing to play. Stay strong, trust yourself, and never let anyone convince you that your reality isn't real.